日本時間7月20日、ドジャースの山本由伸投手が敵地でのヤンキース戦に先発出場をしました。この日の山本投手は102球を投げ、4安打2失点、無四球、7奪三振と好投し、レギュラーシーズンでは自身初となる完投で2年連続の2桁到達となる今季10勝目を挙げました。またこの試合では大谷翔平選手が先制の二塁打を含む5打数2安打2打点の活躍を見せ、6年連続での100安打に到達しました。試合後には山本投手本人がこの快投について9回まで投げ切れたことを喜び、勝ち星以上にブルペンを助けられたことに意義を感じていると振り返りました。またこの試合の前にはロバーツ監督が大谷選手が水曜日の先発登板を見送ることを明かしています。打撃にはその影響がないと説明し、膝を万全な状態に戻す時間を優先したいと語りました。ここからはその様子を字幕付きでご紹介します。
Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Yoshi, just to be able to throw a complete game, I know you've done it before in the postseason, but to do this in the regular season, especially on a day in which there's a doubleheader, how important was it for you just to find ways to be efficient to get deep into the game?
以前も完投されたことあるんですけども、ダブルヘッダーでという日で、これだけのピッチングするっていうことはどれだけ山本さんにとって重要ですか？
もともとマウンド上がるときはダブルヘッダーのことはあまり考えず、いつも通りの気持ちで試合に入りましたけど、今日のこのダブルヘッダーの日に9回までいけたっていうのはすごく良かったなと思います。
You know, because when I was going to the game early on, because I was not thinking about that today we have a doubleheader, and then just focusing on my own job, and then the day like this, I was able to perform like this. That was a good thing.
What do you think was the key to navigating through their alignment, getting the soft contact, and just being efficient?
今日この打線相手にするにあたって何が重要ですか？
いつも通りそのバッターに合った、ピッチングを心がけましたし、しっかり自分のボールを投げられるように、しました。
The first thing I was focusing on executing my own pitches, and then also and then I was trying to select the pitches that was the best pitches to each hitter's batters.
Yoshinobu, this is, I think, the least amount of swing and miss you've had in a start, but certainly still effective. How did you change, knowing that you didn't really have the swing and miss, to still get the results you wanted?
今日空振りの数が多分今まで一番ちょっと今週少なかったと思うんですけど、その中でこれだけ効率いい投球ができたっていうのはどこにだと思いますか？
無駄な力みなく、投げていけましたし、いいコースに行ってたので、早く結果球になったり、いいピッチングにつながったかなと思います。
You know, because I was just focusing on executing my pitches, and then also I was able to because locating my pitches in the right spot.
How much was your game plan influenced by how the Yankees were responding or reacting to your pitches?
今日、試合に入るにあたって立てたゲームプランをどういう相手の反応とかに対してどういう感じでI'm sorry. What was that?
How much was the game plan influenced by how the Yankees were reacting to what you were?
そのゲーム前に立ったプランがそのゲームの中でその打線に向き合う中でどういうふうに変えていったというかありましょうか？
反応を見て変えたところもありますし、もともとの予定通りいったところもありますし、本当にそこはいつも通りというかみんなで話し合いながら、試合を進めていきました。
You know, because there's a part, because I changed and adjust as the game went on, and then also between the innings, because I communicated with coaches, and then make an adjustment somehow.
I know this is not your decision, but if it were up to you, how often do you think you could throw a complete game?
完投するっていうのはその山本さんだけの決断ではできないんですけども、どれくらい普段やるその完投っていうのは 意識してますか？やりたいですか？
やっぱりこう9回投げたりすると、なんていうんだろうな、勝ち星とか以上にそのブルペンを助けたり、そういうチームにとっていいことが、なんていうんだろう、結果以上にあると思うので、すごく、できれば9回投げたいですけど、そんなうまくいくことばかりではないので、いつも通りやっていけたらなと思います。
So, being able to complete the game, whole 9 innings, that gives a little break for the bullpen. Then I like to do that as much as I can, but not every game going like this.
So when you look at your workload over this first half, how much pride do you take in what that's been able to do for the pitching staff as a whole?
前半戦を振り返って、個人的にどうですか？
もちろんいいところも悪いところもどちらも、たくさんありましたけど、そこをしっかりなんていうんだろう、振り返って、また半分ありますし、最後は、とにかく大事な、ポストシーズンが始まるので、どんどんこう調子を上げていける、きっかけというか、そこにつなげたいなと思います。
There were, of course, ups and downs, negative things, positive things. So I reflect on those things, and then, because I'm maintaining what I can do at the best level, and then the most important part of the season is coming up, so I'd like to do my best.
Ready? Well, Dave, we knew weather was going to likely play into consideration with this weekend. Now you guys have a doubleheader today. You've got Yoshinobu starting the first one. Just how do you look to kind of manage getting through this day, understanding it's the beginning of your road trip as well?
So, obviously it's helpful to have Yoshi go game one. In theory, we get more length to protect us for game two. Don't know what we're going to do as far as the starter for game two. I think it's going to depend on obviously game one. Emmett, we're going to push him back to tomorrow. So I think that in theory, a bullpen game for game two makes a lot of sense. But yeah, I think we're in a good spot.
Why did you decide to push back Emmett?
Well, I think that, the elephant in the room is Shohei's not going to start on Wednesday. His knee, we just want to continue to give it the best chance to kind of get into a good spot. And as he said, as we feel, it's the pitching and the torque on landing on that leg that kind of gets it upset. And so I think that the hitting doesn't do that. So I think that for us, we're trying to give it as much time as possible. So I think being able to kick Emmett to Monday made the most sense.
Did he throw a bullpen session and that's when he realized the knee wasn't responding?
No, he didn't. He just was playing catch, and then also just kind of the feeling of where he's at, how it feels day to day. So that was enough for him to talk to the trainers and feel like there was no need to test it with a bullpen where he already knew the answer, right? So I just think for us, it's more like we've done many times over, erring on the side of caution.
Are you just fully skipping this start or pushing him back a couple days, or do you know yet?
Don't know yet. But kind of where we're at right now, how we're proceeding, I would say that, it's going to be some time. And I say that it's not going to be a day-to-day thing. I think that once we've moved Emmett, the rotation can keep going forward without Shohei for the time being. And I can't speak to how long that's going to be.
Will he DH both games today?
I will see how the first game goes. And so I'm going to leave that open-ended. Yep.
How much of a concern is this that coming off the injection, it's still an issue?
I think it's more of, honestly, I think that part of it, a lot of it is where we're at and how we've put ourselves in a good spot in the sense of, could he probably do it? Sure. but right now the cost just doesn't seem to outweigh or the benefits don't seem to outweigh the cost this time of the season. So I think that we still have plenty of time to kind of get him to a good spot to then pitch.
He's going to be skipping potentially future starts too. How do you anticipate filling his spot in order to keep kind of six-man rotation?
Well, we have days off coming up, so that's an easier short-term answer. And then obviously Blake did 2 innings yesterday, or almost 2 innings. So then, you'd like to think that number one, Shohei will be back at some point, and then number 2, you got Blake coming too.
Is Landon 27th man?
What's that?
Who's your 27th man?
It's probably going to be Kyle Hurt. We got somebody else coming, but I think it's probably going to be Kyle Hurt.
Is Landon now
Dave,
built up
with
enough?
Ohtani, how does this work? Did he come to you guys and say, I don't think we should push this back? Do you guys go to him saying, maybe it's a better idea that we put this up? How did this thing kind of originate? Because he was on the schedule on Wednesday.
He was on the schedule when we broke camp, or when we broke for the All-Star break. And then it was more of the training staff talking to him about, hey, coming out of the break, how does Wednesday look? How do you feel? If you don't feel 100%, we have the opportunity to just kick the can. And so I think that for us, the player is always going to want to be out there and participate. But I think it's more driven by the organization saying, hey, if you're not 100% right, we don't have to do this.
Is there any chance he doesn't pitch again this season?
No, I don't. No, not at all. I guess anything's possible, but I don't think that's a possibility. No.
You guys talked about, I know you said it doesn't affect him hitting, so that's why he's going to keep hitting. But is there any thought that maybe shutting him down from hitting for a few days might help the knee? No, because there's no, and again, he did this pitching when he does swing the bat. It's the back knee versus the land knee, where you're kind of driving off of it to create torque when you pitch. And so there's no feeling of any sensation or any, reason why we feel like we got to stop hitting. No. And do you think you're in a situation now where it's basically, I know you said day to day, but pitching every 6 days, I guess, for you guys, that it's just going to be a start-to-start issue?
I think, honestly, that's a hard one to answer right now, because I think it's more of, the first step is getting him into a spot where he feels like, and we feel like he can pitch and not regress. So I think that at that point in time, we can kind of read and react. I just can't even answer that right now.
Are you guys hoping he can kind of get to a place at some point where the knee's not going to be an issue again, or is this something that's starting to feel like he's going to have to manage it the rest of the year?
I think that's why we're trying to be a little bit more on the proactive side, as far as obviously right now, I don't know when his last start was, but let's call it 10 days. And then if it's 2 weeks or 3 weeks, then that's kind of why we're trying to do this, so we don't have to, worry about it, throughout the end of the season.
Mark and both Shohei have talked about how they believe they've been able to address something mechanically that can take some pressure off of that knee. Does this time, just with missing this next start, does it allow for him to be able to also kind of focus in on some of the mechanical things that maybe could help protect that knee of his?
Yeah, I think so. But again, he hasn't been off the mound in a while. I'm sure he's going to work on that type of delivery and flat ground. But to be honest, so yes, it's a short answer. But then you got to obviously get off the mound and see how it feels when you're on the mound.
What was the report you got on Blake yesterday?
The stuff, fine. As far as execution, not great. Got his pitch count up, so he couldn't get through 2. But for the first one, he'll be fine. I think he goes again on Friday, and the hope is it'd be 3 innings.
Dave, it's a big week in New York today, the World Cup Finals today. There was the ESPYs Fanatics Fest. How special is it for the Dodgers and Yankee series to be in there too?
Yeah, it's you don't see this series kind of in the shadows of anything, but with what's going on today with the World Cup, it's a special event, and fortunately we have a doubleheader that we can still tune in between games. But it's great, and for us to be in New York and you see, the energy and people from all over the world in New York City, it's pretty cool.
Do you have a pick between Argentina and Spain to win?
It's hard to go against the GOAT, man. They're the underdog, but it's hard to bet against Messi.
Like he'd obviously prefer to have him do the full build-up, but could you push that a little earlier, just with what shows going on?
I don't think so. I think we tried that one. I think the full build-up, 5 and 75, and then we'll kind of go from there.
So with Ohtani, he said after his last start that the discomfort's like in his kneecap. Do you guys have any more idea if it might be again related to that surgery that he had in 19? And or if not, do you guys have a clear idea of what exactly is wrong in there?
I don't know the answer as far as in regards to the surgery. I think it's a little bit, it's just like all of us, all athletes that kind of have wear and tear. That's just part of it. And now it's just kind of showing itself a little bit, and then you got to manage it. I think that it's, the years of sliding, pitching, hitting, and all that stuff. All right, thanks guys. Yep.
いかがでしたでしょうか。このチャンネルでは MLB で活躍する日本人選手の最新情報を中心にどこよりも熱くお届けします。専門家の分析や選手の生の声で観戦がさらに面白くなりましたら、ぜひチャンネル登録と高評価をお願いいたします。皆様の応援が励みになります。今回も最後までご視聴いただき本当にありがとうございました。それではまた次の動画でお会いしましょう。